Hypercycle enables AI systems to communicate and collaborate efficiently. Currently, this process is slow and costly. Hypercycle improves this by offering a secure global connection system with verifiable identities without depending on centralized parties. It provides a safe platform for AI to interact directly without intermediaries. For more information, go to hypercycle.ai.
All right, everybody, we are back.
Hey,
Toufii, welcome back to This Week in Hypercycle. A lot of stuff going on. We will get right to the guts of it. Toufii, what's going on?
well, a lot of the stuff we can talk about, a lot of stuff we cannot talk about. the core thing that a lot of people they've been asking about some of the stuff that they've been happening in the in the ecosystem, the way we see those things. How did Hypercycle come to exist? It's a partnership for a bunch of people and companies and whatnot, and then the main two entities or ecosystem is like the Singularity and the Toda give birth to this baby. It's Hypercycle, and this baby's got phenomenal genetics. We all know this is great, can get a lot of great things from both parents. But then when you look at what is happening with that announcement that was made with the Singularity, and I was asked actually last Friday, what do I think of that? And I've kind of gave an answer, not to be disrespectful in any way, and I said, sometimes like a child would hope that the parent would get the Ferrari, end up getting a Civic, right? But but that's okay. I think regardless of what happened with the parent, the best effort will always be provided to that child. We don't really see this child any different. We, if anything, we see this child with a lot more importance of what is needed. Everyone sees this. And when we ask the question to this entire partnership, is there a way or a method to do what Hypercycle does? And the answer across the board, no. The entire assumption that they would want to utilize the Hypercycle. But at the same time, Nick, I'm very cautious that those things, sometimes they may not necessarily go in the right direction. So we don't want to necessarily have to bring in all of the eggs in that basket. You never know what happens to that basket. So we're keeping things completely focused on Hypercycle from my perspective. The entire aspirations and looking for everything that we do across the board in the entire AI has been Hypercycle, and we really see a lot of confirmation from across the entire world around Hypercycle. Like if you look at some of the most recent things that they've been progressing, and some of the proofs that Stanford announced like maybe 5 years ago, about like some of the devices that they and in a lot of the actual proof of like having the own device, LLMs, for example, and all of these things. And they just did that like April 2nd, right? Like they published this, and that's the Octopus V2. And I mean, we've been preparing the infrastructure for all these things for like the last like 2 years now. So it's awesome to see that we are in the right time, in the right place. And there's one of the things that it would be nice to kind of also tell the world about that we're getting into more and more partnerships and investing in more companies and seeing them to be successful and profitable is super exciting.
So you have now, I know there's a lot you can't talk about, but there is something you can talk about, which I think would make people pretty excited.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the so a lot of the companies that they are working on enabling, for example, elderly care with robotics, enabling children with certain robotics. They several they kind of came to us because they've heard about like those devices, and so this is more like computing in the edge. So we ended up like devising a model that is going to be an advanced version, if you wish. Remember, we have a huge ownership in this company, right? Like we have about 30% for Hypercycle, and and there's another 30% for Core Excel, and we have ownership in Core Excel. So we really care a lot about this company, but more so about the actual computation to be, spread out across the globe and enabling that wealth creation. So while one of the news is progressing quite nicely on the YMCA side of things, with the youth of 64 million children, that they are likely to be way ahead of the curve in learning all the stuff that we're enabling the world with Hypercycle. And that ship has sailed, by the way, but we're waiting until that ship gets to some destination to tell this community about it, okay? Now I'm going to tell about something else that is actually progressing nicely as well. Because people, they like the devices so much, they want to hear what's going on with those devices. By the way, 3 of the companies that we have invested in and incubated, they are currently profitable. 3. Okay, so not
And
only
Toufii, real quick,
that they were
people,
just early startups that they're less than a year old, they're actually profitable, not just revenue, they're profitable. So it's phenomenal to see Hypercycle getting all of these ownership. Remember, Nick, all of these ownerships, they have nothing to do with the token. This is all in news being baking this news. This is what will come out and kind of surprise the world, that we're actually building a lot of assets with a lot of equity that we're going to have a huge buffer on that side. Sorry, but you were asking?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, a lot of people were like, okay, great, you got these partnerships, but like, what have you done for me lately? Like, how does that help me? And the way I explain it is because we're bringing in all of these partners that are going to be leveraging AI compute and Hypercycle services. They're all going to be participating right along with us.
Of course. So when we have the clearance to talk, for example, about like the YMCA of the world or whatnot, it would be nice for people to realize that when there's a market of 64 million youth, that they are learning to manage resources that you own, that they're taking those resources to the whole new level, then that demand is increased, a lot. Right now, many of the startups that they're working on providing compute in people's homes, we also want to get more organic ways to getting those devices into people's homes. So this one, they're already building many of the robots that they would need servers in people's homes. So they start talking like, can this server satisfy what we're looking to accomplish? Well, sure, it could, but maybe there's a new version of this. We're calling it the M1. Remember, this is H1, H2. There's the H3 coming in about a few months, and H4. The other one is called M1. Now, why M? And I'm going to explain this shortly. And it's effectively, imagine you have your a child and there's AI running. Do you want this AI to have access to the internet? And the answer is no. You ask every single parent, they say like, no. And why is it that you don't want this AI that is managing the robot that your child is interacting with? Well, because you don't want this tiny little attack to do anything to harm your child. And same if it's like an elderly, same if it's yourself. So now imagine M stands for multiple. Now imagine you have 2 devices and there's There's one thing that ships to your home, and it looks like a plexiglass. Plexiglass is like glass. In that plexiglass, you can see that there is nothing connecting those two, and you can see that the audit report comes out saying that the one on the right doesn't have anything wireless into it. The one on the left is all wireless. It connects to the robots. It has the Bluetooth. It has the Wi-Fi. It has all the stuff. Mechanically, they cannot even talk to each other. The only way that you would talk to each other, and we devised this model, and we filed for provisional patent on that right away, because we were like, every time we're doing something, some people, they would try to copy it, and we want to preserve this for the Hypercycle folks. So we entered in this joint venture where we actually own 45% of that entity, and we already have a client that they own the other 45%, and we'll wait until they make the announcement who is that client. But it's like, in fact, to give you a little bit about that, it's like some of the top guys from MIT, that they're really built this phenomenal robots, and they use the latest LLMs, and they have like some very cool personalized in teaching, based on real-time context and data from users' knowledge base. So that's what they have done, but they want to make sure that they preserve that privacy to the people's home. So this design will look basically similar to, I only have like one of those, but like if you think about like a Plexi is here, and then you have like one device here and one device there, okay? You actually see those devices, and they see that they cannot be connected to each other. It's like all Plexi. And the audit says that this one has all wired stuff to the internet. This is all wireless. Okay.
But what, Toufii? So this setup for the purpose of what? What does it actually do? Like, why do people bring it into their home?
Well, people, they buy this compute into their home because they want their child to be able to interact with all the new AI that is happening. They don't want their child to miss on that, but at the same time, they want their child to be exposed to the entire AI and entire world. Could be some sort of cyber attack or whatnot, or sometimes somebody can learn a lot of the stuff about your child and use it against them later on in life. The people there, they need to protect their children. They need to do the right thing. So we provide them from the get-go. If you were to remember, the very first thing we told the world, we secure the Internet of AI. We are all about security first, security first, security first. So the main reason why they kind of came to us, and they're like, okay, how can we build a phenomenal, secure system, and then at the same time, they want to be part of like the Internet of AI. So that covers one aspect. The other aspect, when the other device is always connected to the Internet, what's it doing?
It's probably doing tilling and compute.
Right. So which means that this thing can be subsidized. So then their market, their TAM went from 3% to 100% just by simply showing them what we did. So that if you imagine those two, let's say that those two computers are sitting like this, and one is subsidizing the cost of the other one because they're doing tilling. And then we said, well, we know so far the math shows that it seems like there's this, it could be one bigger computer on the side if you want, or it can be like a multiple of like computers. We can have them like this. And effectively, those, they can have access to the internet, or they can be like one bigger computer. And the reason for the bigger here is because this can pay for this entire product, Nick, and make the money. So your child gets the best AI on the side. Those, they cannot talk to each other. You know how they get updates? You bring your computer and you connect them manually whenever you decide that you need to put an update from here to here. If you choose to take some data that is like from the learning from here to there, you could do it as well.
So that gives the parents a lot of dexterity in really parental control.
100%, exactly. And this, the other side that it's doing computing on the edges also could be helping a lot of computation that is happening in your neighborhood, in schools and stuff like that. So So it's good to be entering that space, and it's good that we're always going after the customer, and we're not like really going and chasing investors and how and smoke and mirrors. We're doing real business here, going after real people and enabling people to get much further ahead in whatever they're doing. So that's one of the things that are happening. Of course, you happen to know about like a lot of other stuff that I still cannot talk about them yet. But it would be nice when we get the clearance and we'll be able to talk about those things too, because a lot of exciting stuff that they're coming our way. And we really think that we're spearheading the Internet of AI. Just think about it, how powerful that statement is. The Internet of AI, the Internet of humans. Which Internet do you think is going to be bigger? Which Internet do you want to power? Which Internet you want to get into the enabling that economy early on, as opposed to waiting for this to kind of like pass us forward. And please keep in mind, we're building things in such a way that we are not going to be the owners of that internet. Many people, they think it's like, oh, wait, what? So are you saying that is going to run on the Hypercycle network? I'm like, what are you talking about? The Hypercycle network? It's not like a walled garden. Hypercycle is there isn't any entity in the entire world today that they're actually building inside the network packets that you and I have. Everybody has a TCP packets. Not a single entity, whether it is in a decentralized world, that they're blockchain world, or whether it is in a centralized world. And we're not here to say it's like we're the only entity because we want to brag or it's about ego or whatnot. We're saying it's the only entity because we're building it in a way that we're setting an example that everybody can actually come in and play. But we're giving the ability to our community to partake in that factory. The factory of what? Factory of nodes. And that's why like they have unlocked potential 2024. Many people, they come and say, why don't you go and sell the 1024? Well, that's not how things work. That's not how Bitcoin work. That's not how the entire coffee shop in your area work. That's not how Starbucks built its own wealth of there's something that we can say it out loudly in front of the entire world, and by the time they realize that, holy shit, this was one of their secret sauces, because by the time they understand it, they already realize that we are ahead of the curve. The tiling takes something essential that exists today. Nobody can bring it back, and it's time. It does that temporal coupling, and it enables people to start building that over time. When people they look at any business anywhere in the world, if you have the choice to choose a business that has a longer history than business that just opened today, you know what you would choose, the one with longer history, because it's much more reliable, whatnot. We're taking it to a whole new level. It's not about only history. It's about knowing your neighbors. It's like you get to know how fast is it to ping another machine, what the other machine has, what kind of computation, all of these things. They are essential in having an infrastructure. And Nick, this entire community is building infrastructure, not Hypercycle in some lab somewhere in in Japan and giving it to the world. We're giving the entire community the ability to build that. The factory of Hypercycle is you, me, everyone who is partaking in building this. That's the factory of Hypercycle. That's how we can build the Internet of AI. So we're super proud of it. We're super excited, and we're looking forward to see how we can bring in more and more demand from many different angles.
Well, in a world dominated by bumper stickers and headlines and noise, it's nice to be engaged in a project that's moving forward and doing real partnerships. And it's a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the next few of our episodes where you can talk a little bit more about some of these things that are pretty enticing.
It's gonna dazzle people.
Yeah.
Some of those partnerships, people would be like, what? Anyway, it's super exciting to be doing that. It's just fascinating to be looking forward to those partnerships. If anyone from those entities that we are doing partnership with realize how well we keep the things close to heart until we announce them, they would probably give us a little bit more respect, because people sometimes they leak some of those information early on, and it's not fair to them, not fair to us, not fair to our community. But yeah, a lot of exciting stuff coming. So hopefully we'll be able to disclose all of them, and if not all of them. Actually, one of them I know for sure we cannot disclose until July. Let me tell you, let's put it this way. And it's huge, big, phenomenal. And then the other ones we're likely to be able to disclose over the next couple of weeks. So it would be super cool if we can do that.
Well, we'll reconvene as soon as you have the press release green light. Until then, thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy, and the world of AI is moving real fast.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So there is something that has been happening quite nicely with all of like the tilling and propagations of those, and then the value that it's being created in all of those tillings. So one thing that is coming this week for the people that they have like those devices, they're going to be able to see new columns. It's going to update itself, and it's going to see the new columns, and it's going to give them the choice to choose whether you want the cash out option or whether you want the wealth creation. It's going to be one or the other. And the cash out is just going to be reliant on the third party that they are doing the wealth creation, and they're happy to give you the $180 a month if you're keeping it up the entire time or whatnot. That's up to the wealth creation. We stand behind our math. Every single node, Nick, and I look everyone in the eye, and you can bring me any economist anywhere in the world, and we can prove that. Every single node can grow from whatever it has value today to $1.2 million between 5.5 years to 10 years. Okay? You're taking care of your nodes, you're growing, you're unlocking their potential, you're getting to the 1,024. Each and every one of those, they're generating revenue. And that's, again, based on one single assumption that the node is making in revenue on average $10 a month, which means that like every 1,800 times that it tries to do compute, it gets paid once a penny. Okay? So just saying that it is the most conservative that the engineers they were able to put together, and we're super excited to enable anyone to partake in this wealth creation, because some people, they say that they just want to run the nodes, they don't have the ability to buy it. There's that opportunity is available. Some people, they're able to just like invest in nodes, they don't have the time to run it. Some people, they want to just provide their expertise. So we're trying to do our part to enable everyone if possible. If we can get to everyone or get to 99%, I think it would be awesome. But we are trying to get to everyone. So
I would like $1 million business 5 years from now. That's like a car lease.
Right.
It's like at the end of a car lease, you have $1 million business. By the way, that's been generating revenue the entire time.
Right. Well, if you're taking that revenue out versus actually the revenue itself, yes, you keep the revenue. You're right. Yeah. But if you want to cash out, you take a little bit more than the revenue, but you're giving away that wealth creation to someone else. You see what I mean? So people get to choose which one they want, and it's it's awesome. Every day we're working on like more and more innovative stuff across the board, but we don't push anything unless it's like fully validated. If sometimes we are delayed, we apologize. Forgive us, please, but we don't like to push things unless they are extremely very, very well tested and hammered. And like the marriage is coming. There's like so many different audits that's been done, but the usability, it's not that very nicely done on that end. So we may have to have two different angles in that, but we are fully plugged in to actually get more and more demand into this ecosystem.
And I would just add, you guys are, because I've been on a fly on the wall in meetings, you guys are very aware of how expensive Ethereum is to use. please don't assume that they're not taking that into consideration. There's a lot of design consideration around every part of this, and the end user and all of us are being considered. So rest assured that that is a consideration.
100%. We're going to provide as many possibility and alternative to people, and that they can be an extension to what they have. Yeah, but we're definitely aware and working on it.
Toufii, thank you so much for your time. We will do this again soon. Everybody stay safe, and we will see you.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Nick. Take care. Bye.
Do you trust your crypto assets to centralized exchanges that actively sell your private information and front-run your trades? Would you like to buy and sell your assets without any middlemen, intermediaries, or robots? Do you like paying slippage, fees, and having the price go up as bots steal from you on low-liquidity decentralized exchanges? The solution is nodemarket.io. Set your guaranteed buy or sell price. No middlemen, no slippage, no bots, ever. Buy or sell 1, 10, or even 10 million tokens, and you never have to worry. OTC trades are between you and the seller or buyer, guaranteed by audited smart contracts and no human middlemen. Nodemarket.io.